On this Moron Reviews, I'm going to just tie this, two great books on Islam. One of them is, of course, Islam, A Raging Storm by Dr. Shelton Smith. You can get these at Sword of the Lord. Now, I'm an atheist, so don't think I'm saying this as a Christian. I'm not a Christian. I'm an atheist. And you notice in other Moron Reviews, this Shelton Smith did a video on, creation versus evolution. And I pretty much went through it and gave you all the stuff was wrong with it and everything. And, and I do suggest you get those videos. Well, it's not actually videos, it's audio, but, you can play it. Another one's called Jihad by Paul Fregosi. This one is more historical. It tells you, gives you the history of Islam. Their invasions of Europe, they're enslaving and slaughtering people, things like that. Now, yeah, if you read this, Islam does not come across very kindly. But you consider what Islam is, just like any religion, it's basically a belief in something that you can't really prove, something that really does not exist. And they're slaughtering people for it. That's what these religious people do. They slaughter people for these things. You really should read this if you get a chance. You learn about the Crusades, the Inquisition, or mainly the Crusades. Because you get these social justice warriors, they demonize the Crusades. Well, he doesn't exactly glorify the Crusades because it's kind of impossible to glorify something so bad, but they did. But now, the Crusades aren't totally bad. After all, they were defending Europe against the Muslims. It's just, they were not any better than the Muslims. And they did slaughter innocent people just like the Muslims did. This one, Raging Storm, you'd expect that a Christian, preacher, especially one like him that's dishonest, especially with the evolution, would just simply be bashing Islam and giving you all the bad things, in which he does do that. California Muslims honor author of hate crimes resolution. Basically, UK edges closer outlawing religious hate speech, but mainly against Islam. And then he tells you about all this stuff, all Muslim bombings and all these things. Liberal elements support acceptance of Islam. Some of the things he says, I can understand. Parents sue school over Muslim orientation. But what I'm saying I like about it is the fact that he gives you where you can find it. He'll tell you, the newspapers or wherever you can find it. Now, as I said in all my videos, well, not all my videos, but most of my videos, you need to get other points of views. Don't listen to me. Don't listen to your professors. Don't listen to anyone else. You need to read books. Not just these books. Any books. Because I guarantee you'll see exaggerations. Just like with what's going on now with the Muslims slaughtering people in Europe. Is there a lot of people being slaughtered by Muslims? Is there a lot of Muslims doing it? Be careful with the media, because the media is not going to be very honest about it. You got one side, they're going to be kind of ignoring it and telling us it's just a fringe group, it's just a few extremists. And those of us with a brain, even a moron like me, knows that anyone that follows their holy book, seriously follows their holy book, whether they're Muslim, Jewish, Christian, whatever, isn't going to be the most pleasant person. Then you got the other side that tells you, well, Muslims are evil and nasty, they're backwards. We need to turn the whole Middle East into glass. Yeah, let's slaughter a bunch of innocent people. That always works. You'll learn, there's actually, in this book, he'll mention even some women that are basically heroes. You will never hear this in school. Certain women that basically sacrifice themselves for their countries, save their countries, or, islands in the Mediterranean actually allowed women to fight because they had no choice, because when the Muslims invaded the area, they slaughtered as many people they could, they enslaved who they could, and they raped all the women. Think about Constantinople, which is now Istanbul, Turkey. How do you think the Turks got there? You think they bought the land from the Europeans that used to live there? No, they slaughtered all of them, enslaved and raped their way through Europe. Turks were not wonderful people. The Europeans were not wonderful people. The people they invaded. The Mongolians, the Chinese, the Japanese, Koreans. This is why you need to read history, This way you don't have some social justice professor lying to you about the white man being the bad guy. because no race is really the bad. It comes, if you really learn history, no particular ethnic group is the bad guy, and there's no such thing as race anyways. It's a social construct. As a lot of you know, it's a social construct. It's nonsense. Of course, in Islam: A Raging Storm, he does try to make it like Islam is just, out to get us all. I'll admit he does that a decent amount of times, which is actually kind of funny. And of course, you hear people talk about, well, how about the bombings and the attacks in Muslim countries? You don't mention that. He mentions that. And that's not an excuse. You can't say, well, okay, there's bombings in Europe, but you're not complaining about bombings in Indonesia and all these other countries. Well, that is a problem. People should. But you're not using that. That's not a good excuse. That is a problem with the religion itself. Not the people necessarily, because that's the problem with people. I should say that, okay. People are easily, because people are basically animals. You tap into their emotions, you can warp their thought to believe anything. Deny the Holocaust, hate the Jews, hate the Muslims, hate white people, hate black people. Hate men. That's what a lot of these social justice professors do now. Hate men. That's why you have to educate yourself and don't react on emotion. Whenever for example, you watch the news. This person is accused of murdering somebody. Don't automatically assume that person is guilty. Do not automatically assume that's a white person that committed a certain crime or a black person that committed a certain crime. And if a black person commits a certain crime, there's not all black people this, all black people that. It's annoying when people do that, and that just shows their ignorance. That's what they're doing. They're basically telling you loud and clear that they're ignorant. They don't know what the hell they're talking about. This Raging Storm, gives you, American Muslims promoting their religion, which is not really anything wrong with that. And one of the things I like about this, is he mentions like in Saudi Arabia, some people are proselytizing in Saudi Arabia, and basically the Saudis are not happy, and they're being arrested for it. And they're most likely going to get deported. I mean, they've probably already been deported since it happened a few years ago. Now, he's not happy with this. I personally could care less. The reason why, you already know the rules of Saudi Arabia or Iran, so you don't go there handing out Bibles and gospel tracts. You know how they're going to react. You're just simply poking the lion, and you're going to get a reaction you do not like. Okay? It's like knocking on the door of a very educated atheist that really knows his stuff. Whether you're trying to promote Islam or Christianity, you're going to get slaughtered. You debate someone like Aaron Ra, Matt Dillahunty, you're going to pretty much lose. And this one, he talks about the Arabs and the Moors. This one is more, you can. I like this one. It was, Genesis. If you play the video game Assassin's Creed, you notice that it tends to make the Muslims look like the good guys and the Christians look like the bad guys. But sorry, they're not. The Genesis series. If you play the Assassin's Creed Revelations, you deal with the Janissaries and they're the bad guys. Well, no, they were basically forced into Islam by the Ottoman Empire. Okay, maybe they're not the good guys, but either way, they're not good guys. They're not bad guys. They were forced. You'll learn about all this stuff. Kosovo, which is great. Catherine the Great, you'll get to learn about. You'll learn a lot of history. I mean, there's a lot in here. You should also get a chance, look this guy up in his history. I got plenty of other books. Sorry about this. I kind of screwed this over a little bit. Hey, you can't be an idiot and not screw up, right? I prefer this book over this one because this is written by a Christian pastor who's editor of Sword of the Lord. And you can get this at Sword of the Lord, Islam: A Raging Storm. So here, of course, Jihad is not written by a Christian. As far as I know of, he's not. Paul Fregosi. So he not going to give you a Christian slant and make Christian good, Islam bad. This one does that. This one doesn't. Neither religion is really good or bad. But let's face facts, though, because everybody wants to bring up what Christians did in the past. If you read the New Testament in the Bible, there's not one verse that tells you to murder innocent people. The Quran tells you to kill non-believers. Go to Quran Reloaded, and they actually are doing their little Quran study, weekly Quran study. You should watch that. Watch their videos. You know, they're going through the Quran. You get yourself a Quran and read it. It's not very pleasant. It's like reading the Old Testament of the Bible. You know, where the Jews slaughtered people to take their lands because their God told them to. Well, that's it. That's all I have to say now. There's a lot anyone can say. You know, you can talk about all these attacks from these Muslims, but let's face it, it's not going to get any better. The Muslims themselves, and that's another thing, please. I do not agree with any burqa bans or any of that stuff, because you're only fueling. What religion teaches people is persecution. Oh, we're being persecuted. We're being attacked. We're being persecuted. You see that with Christians. Well, in Europe, they want to ban, some places in Europe, they banned the burqa and all this stuff. Well, now the Muslims, let's see, they're attacking us. They're persecuting us. We're going to teach these foreign devils, these European devils a lesson. We're going to teach them a lesson. You know, that's all you're doing. That's why I don't agree with that type of stuff. The burqa bans, that stuff is just nonsense. There's no point. And it's not the religion. It is the religion. It isn't really the people. Except for the weak-minded people that are easily influenced by crap like religion and dogmatic beliefs like these social justice warriors are. You know, a lot of them, in religion, as a lot of you know, they preys on the weak-minded and the poor. And people who have disabilities and stuff like that, because they have something to work with. They can say, well, look at what you're at. Well, we have something that will help you. It's our religion. And, of course, they warp their minds and everything. If they can, as much as they can, you get these terrorists or these God Hates Fags groups and all these other groups. That's what religion does. It's the same way with these social justice warrior types. The professors, they see their students. They're young. They're not that as smart as they think they are, and they poison their minds. White men are evil, white people are bad, this and that, males this, males that, and they know their students aren't going to actually read books. They'll read what they're told to read, just like these Muslims will, just like the Christians will. Read books that disagree with your opinions. Watch videos that you would normally disagree with. You'd be surprised what you would learn. I really wish there was a way to get people to learn to read and watch videos of things they disagree with, not just what you agree with, and do it with an open mind, not already watching, listen to what these idiots have to say. Oh, they're racist and they're sexist and they're this and that. Watch and learn. Well, bye.